So we're here at Walter Zill's place, of course, with Walter, and he was just starting to tell us about the tree behind us.
This is one that grew at my brother's place, not this particular tree, but the original tree of this variety in location E4. So it was known as E4 for quite a while. And what Gary was interested in finding in his experimental plantings was mangoes that had a special, unique flavor, and one of his favorite flavors was an old Pettigrew mango. Well, Pettigrew, it never became very popular, I think, because it will always spoil on the tree if you're waiting for it to ripen. You just have to know when to pick it and let it ripen off of the tree. But Gary was hoping to find that flavor in some seedlings that he had selected fruit from the area where his Pettigrew tree was growing. At any rate, E4 grew, and when it began to ripen, he noticed the problem that is common with some of those late varieties, that it would ripen at the base and the top would be all green and hard. In cases like that, it's best to pick the fruit when they have the characteristics showing that it's a mature fruit, which if filled out and usually will build up some shoulder near the stem. And there's little, I'm not sure the proper name for it, but it looks like little dots that break open in the skin, and sometimes it looks like beads of sap will come through those places. And that's a pretty good sign that if you pick the fruit, it will ripen off of the tree and be okay. On this tree, there are 2 fruit, and one came from a bloom that was earlier than the other one. And I hope that somewhere in the process of the sun shining around, you can see that it has, we're going to go ahead and pick that fruit because it's time to pick it, I think. So we'll just snitch that off. You might even be able to tell the difference in the green color of it compared to the other fruit. You see, the one on the left has a more yellowish tint to it. All right, I'll snitch that off of there.
Now, this is a homemade picker, right?
Right.
So you've been making pickers pretty much for, what, 40 years or so?
Here, there's a better way to do it. Oh, Dad's got on to making pickers like this years ago, more than 40 years ago. Because, well, there's there, that's
I'll go grab it for you.
You do that. Thank you very much. That way they don't jerk and knock the other fruit off. Does your can we see these little specks in the skin?
It's like pores for
yes.
humans.
And on this side, you see the little bits of sap? That's a characteristic to look for in a lot of varieties that are late and you're wondering when to pick them. So I'm going to lay this down here for a few minutes. And I have half of a fruit that my wife found that had dropped. This is the same variety, and it was from the other tree that we looked at down there that I didn't even know it was on there, but she found it under there, and we're going to sample it and see what the reaction is to its flavor. If I can do it this way. Now, Chris, you're gonna demonstrate this?
Yeah,
Can you deal with a piece like that?
Of course, I'll be happy to taste this. It's a variety that I have not yet tasted, so.
Okay.
Very sweet. And yeah, it has that, trying to think of the variety of mango that it reminds me of. But it's really a nice flavor, rich flavor.
It's really hard to put flavors into words, and everybody seems to have their own vocabulary for flavors.
Yeah, I mean, I do. It does remind me of the pineapple flavor mangoes.
Okay, pineapple flavor? I don't know what to say myself.
Very sweet, and
I'm going to set this down here because Margaret over here that's running that camera, she's going to want some when she's not holding that camera. I'm mangoed up. This is for somebody else to sample. I may succeed later. I let one person sample a mango. I gave her a whole mango that the bottom of Sugar Loaf, the bottom was ripening and the top was still hard, which is quite common among this variety.
If you leave it on the tree, if you take it off, then it ripens more evenly, or?
Right, taken off, they'll ripen more evenly. But if it's left on the tree, they ripen from the bottom first. And often the bottom will be spoiled before the top is fit to eat. Mm-hmm. And her expression after a day or so when she had it, when she cut it and she sampled the bottom, it was like caramel. And the top was too hard, unripe to have any good comment about. So it's one of those that you need to know when to pick it and then let it ripen off of the tree.